Guys, we are going to be going over our 4.2 guided reading notes here. So if you pull that document up on your screen, we're going to go through the answers. So our first question is, a number that describes how likely it is that an event will occur is called probability. Right? You then had to highlight each answer that equals the probability that a tossed coin will land heads up. There's only two sides to a coin, so it's a 50-50 chance. So 1 and 2 is the first one we're going to highlight. 50% is the second one. We're going to highlight. And then 1/2 is also an answer. Okay, going to 3, is the following sentence true or false? When you toss a coin 20 times, you will always get 10 heads and 10 tails. I did tell you to make sure to read the section Mathematics of Probability. And through this, it is essentially saying that there's still going to be that 1 and 2 chance. Okay, so this is considered false. And we'll just add this little answer, okay? There's always that 1 and 2 chance of heads or tails. Then going down to the next question, if you toss a coin 5 times and it lands heads up each time, can you expect the coin to land heads up on the 6th toss? And again, you had to explain. If you read that section, Independence of Events, it says the probability, again, is still 1 and 2 or 50%, and the results of the first 5 tosses do not affect the result of that 6th toss. So we are going to explain that the probability is still 1 and 2, and then the results of the first 5 tosses do not affect the result of the 6th. Okay, so because there's that probability, it's always going to have that same probability unless you add another factor in. Then moving on to our next section. When Mendel crossed 2 hybrid plants for stem height, capital T, lowercase t, so it had a dominant and a recessive trait, what results did he always get? There's a couple different ways you can answer this. You could have just listed out the alleles, so like the letters. So he would have always gotten capital T, capital T, lowercase t, and he would have gotten that twice, and then he would have gotten 2 lowercase t. Or you could have said 3 tall plants and 1 short. Right? Or you can even do percentages, but it pretty much says that it's like 1/4 of them had short stems, 3 of them had the tall plants, and so on. Okay? Mendel realized that the principles of probability could be used to blank the results of genetic crosses. So through this, he learned that it can be used to predict the results of genetic crosses. All right. The next question, a chart that shows all the possible combinations of alleles that can result from a genetic cross is called a Punnett square. And our book has set this up a little bit. You dealt with them with the mouse gizmo, and we're going to get into more practice of them and setting them up as well this week. Then going down to question 8, you actually had to fill out the Punnett square. If you looked at your textbook pages, that helps you as well. Or if you remember it from the mouse gizmo, how this is set up, you put the parent alleles in the boxes. So the capital F, so the capital F goes in one, and the lowercase f goes in the other for parent 1, and then parent 2 is the same thing, capital F, lowercase f, and then you cross the columns and the rows. And wherever those two cross is what combination you get for that example. So this first box has those two capital F's, and this second box is going to get that one capital F and a lowercase f. The thing you need to remember is that the capital F always goes first, okay, or that capital letter, that dominant trait, just to kind of show that that's there and visible. Then the third box here, it receives that capital F and a lowercase f, and then the last box has the two lowercase f. So this shows Mendel's crosses in those predictions. Scrolling down to our key terms then, phenotype is an organism's visible appearance. Set this up here quick. So that should be B. Genotype is the genetic makeup. So if you think about that, the P in phenotype goes with the P in physical, the G in genotype goes with the G in genetic. Then homozygous is when an organism has two identical alleles for a trait or they're the same. That would be A. And then heterozygous would be D. It's when they have two different alleles. So they're mixed or they're different. Mendel also used the term hybrid to describe heterozygous. So they're that mix. So they're that hybrid or blend. Going down to codominance then, we won't get into this too much, but this is when there's like a mix of alleles. So following sentence, true or false. In codominance, the alleles are neither dominant nor recessive. This is true. What happens then is that both of those alleles are present in the offspring, so you have that mix. So if you remember our rats, they were black or white. If they had that codominant trait for the fur color, then some of the offspring could be like black and white mixed. Then question 15, I gave you the last question. If they're codominant, it means that they're heterozygous as well. Once you have this done, if you check them, please make sure you did turn your notes in. Otherwise, you're good to go.